It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's time to react to my 12 books for 2021 video. Welcome! Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome here if you are new. I'm Manganet. I do book related content and sometimes not. If you're new here and you have no idea what this video is about, let me tell you that every single year in December or sometimes in January, I publish on my channel a video of 12 books for the following year. I publish that video and I never review it for an entire year. Ideally, on that list are 12 books that I really want to read, meaning they would definitely get read the next year because, like I said, I really want to read them. Spoiler alert, that never really happens. Then, at the end of each year, I react to the list that I created 12 months before, and I find out how many books I've read, how many books I have not read, and how many I unhold. This is all very exciting, perhaps not as much for you, but it is for me because I wait an entire year for this video, and every single year I tell you the same thing, that I'm excited because I haven't discovered these books for the entire year. This is all very excited. So here we are. I'm going to watch for the first time in a year my video with the 12 books for 2021. Now, quick considerations about 2021. What a year, am I right? When we thought that 2020 was bad, boom, 2021 hits you in the face. 2021 was not a very nice year for myself. In fact, I honestly think it was the worst year of my life. But we're gonna just press on, move on, roll on 2022. But before we do that, I have here the video that I published in January, I think, actually, in the beginning of January, 12 books for 2021. I'm gonna pop it here on the screen, so look here if you want. Let's meet Manganet from 1 year ago and see what she has to say. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my list of 12 books for 2021. The first book that I have here is The Switch by Beth O'Leary. This is the second book by this author. The first one was The Flat Chair. I loved that book when I first read it, and I've been wanting to read this ever since, and I haven't yet. Will it be this year? Next up, we have Josh's and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by the duo Christina Lauren. No. This duo is something that I've recently started reading, and I absolutely fell in love with their books, even though one of them was actually a disappointment, but we're not here to talk about that. Next up, a random book that I bought in one of my goings to charity shops. I have never heard of this and I have never heard of this author, but this theme is something that definitely interests me and it goes towards my personality, and you can understand why in just a second. So this book is The Assistant and is by C.K. Tremayen. I probably butchered that name over there. Next up, another book by another author that I've read in the past, that is C.J. Tudor, and this book is an arc, so the title is here on the side, called The Burning Girls. This was kindly sent to me by Philippe, thank you so much. I have no idea what this book is about, to be honest. Another author that I discovered in 2020 and I loved, and I'm on a binge to read all of their books, and that is Taylor Jenkins Reid, and the one that I chose was One True Loves. It's about this person that the husband disappears, she thought it was the love of her life, and the one that I picked up just because I looked at it and I thought, why not? And that is Beach Read by Emily Henry. I thought that maybe for the summer months, or maybe if we manage to go traveling this year for the first time in who knows how long, I would like to pick up this. Next up we have The Authenticacy Project by Claire Pooley. This cover is, I love this cover. I don't know why, it's nothing special, but I absolutely love it. Next up, another book by one of my most recently favorite authors that I discovered as well in 2020, and I absolutely fell in love. I spoke about this author a bunch of times, and that is of course John Mars. This is his most recent book. The Minders came out in 2020. I'm sad that literally the first book that I have read, not the first book, but like literally the first book that I have watched, that I've read for a while in this list, and I didn't really enjoy it, and it's John Mars. This is so sad. Next up, a book that everyone has been talking about recently, and that is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I've read Matt Haig in the past as well. I didn't absolutely love his book. It was a 4-star for me, but whatever. The next one that I have to show you is All the Ugly and Wonderful Things by Breen Greenwood. I've had this on my bookshelves for a while. Next up, a series that I would like to start reading this year. I rarely read series because I have the feeling that series are usually from fantasy, and I've stopped reading fantasy a long time ago. This is actually a romance series, so I'm looking forward to give this a try. This is the first book, Get a Life, Chloe Brown. The second one is already out, and the third one is coming out this year. And finally, the 12th book on this list, another author that I've read in the past, but it was definitely in 2020 that I absolutely fell in love with this author. I read like 3 or 4 books by her, and they were all excellent. They all broke my heart in different ways, and it was just amazing. This is her most recent book. It's Layla by Colleen Hoover, and this is supposed to be a paranormal romance. Right, so I only read 4. I think I keep getting worse. I think that last year was my best year at this, but I don't remember the stats anymore. But I have the feeling that last year was my best year, and this year we went downhill again. But you know what, I'm curious? I want to react to the first time ever that I published one of these videos. I don't remember which year it was. Please bear with me while I dig through my channel and try and find the first episode ever of this. Okay, I found it. So the first time ever that I made this was 12 books for 2018, and this video is in Portuguese. Here's the thumbnail. I recorded this in one of the hotel rooms. The feelings. Also, 2018 was 4 years ago, like next year. So when I create the 12 books for 2022, it's going to be 4 years since the first 12 books for that I created. I'm going to react to it. I'll put it here on the screen as well for you to watch. However, I'm just gonna mute it because it's in Portuguese, so there's no point anyway. And I'm just curious to see if after all these years I've finally done these things or not. Look how young she is. I don't know why I'm showing you this on the screen. It's literally over here. She's so young. Also, this angle is terrible. 1984? What? This was back in the day when I used to think that I was somehow cultural. We'll always have Paris. I've unhauled that meanwhile, so I no longer have it. Everything, I've also unhauled it because I think I watched the movie. Did I? I don't know. 2 by 2, I read this one. Okay. Yeah, so usually when the books get adapted to movies, if I watch the movie, which I prefer, I don't read the books. Red Queen, I've unhauled that as well. Wow. I didn't really know what kind of books I liked by then. I was kind of still trying to discover. Caraval and Burning City I read, both of them. I don't think... Hold on. I don't think I was putting Burning City on the list. I was just saying that I wanted to read Caraval because it was for fans of the Burning City. Night Circus I unhauled. Lots of fantasy on this list. Anna and the French Kissed, I DNF'd it, but I'm gonna count as read. And I think that meanwhile I've also unhauled it. I'm not sure. Want You Dead and The Kind Worth Killing, I read both. Throne of Glass, I've unhauled it. Lots of unhauls meanwhile. I remember putting Harry Potter on my list back here, and I still haven't read it. I've watched all the movies a bunch of times, and I've read the first 2 books. I never continued the series, and back then I wanted to reread the series. I mean, reread the first 2 books and then continue with the series, but I ended up never doing it. But those were all the books, and I read 5 and hauled another 5, and from this list I only still own 2 of them. Maybe I should read them as well. One of them is 1984, and the other one is Harry Potter. Okay, this is interesting. Let's watch the 12 books for 2019 next. Also, I totally didn't expect this to be the course of video that this is becoming, but I guess it is now. Here it is. It's another video in Portuguese, so I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna listen to it at 2 times speed with it on mute. Wow, look at that long, shiny, bright, orangey red hair. I still have that t-shirt. The Court of Wings and Ruin, I have unhauled this. Girls of Paper and Fire, I unhauled it as well. Again, a lot of fantasy straight away. The Knife of Never Letting Go, I still have it, and I still haven't read it. I think I still have it. I'm actually not sure. The Inexplicable Logic, I've read this. I actually read this year. It was the first book I've read in 2021, and it wasn't that good. Things I Should Have Known, I still haven't read that. And I'm still curious. Confess by Colleen Hoover, still not read. Evermore I unhauled. I started reading it, I didn't like it, I gave it DNF, and then I unhauled it. It was a sequel. Becoming I read, also this year, during the month of February, when I was doing the videos every day. It was the best of my TBR, so I read it for that video. History is All You Left Me, I've read it meanwhile. Was it in 2020? I think it might have actually been in 2019. Nevermore I unhauled it, I think. I must have. It's another fantasy, middle grade, I think. I'll Give You the Sun, I've read that. Girl of Ink and Stars, I've read that. This cover is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at it. Was that it? I'm back kind of in the middle of the screen. So in this video, I have 3 unread. I'm getting ideas for a reading vlog, obviously, even though I haven't been reading that much. So why am I putting myself in these conditions? I don't know. I think that now we're gonna have to watch the 2020 video as well. So this was the video I reacted to in the beginning of this year. Right, here we go. 12 books for 2020. It's been 3 years since this one. Almost. Yesterday or the day before, I watched the reaction to this video, so I've kind of watched this video by watching the reaction. And I remember that in the beginning, in the intro of this video, I was saying how exciting it was that we were getting into 2020 because it rolls nicely out of the tongue. 2020, 2020, and I was very excited about that. And then it was something, wasn't it? The Holiday, I still have it, and I still haven't read it. Truly Devious, I unhauled, I think, or I didn't. Actually, I don't think I did. So unread. The Au Pair, I've read. The Similars, I still have it, still haven't read it. Radio Silence, I read. I don't know why I did that. It's really weird watching my own videos without sound because, you know, I don't exactly understand myself sometimes. So I'm not 100% sure of why I'm reacting to certain things the way I am. How to Walk Away, I read that. That was the first book that I read in 2020. The Farm, I've also read it. I'm running out of battery in my camera, so Manganet from the past, you better hurry up because I want to record this in one single smooth take. Red White, I've read. I mean, I've DNF'd it, but I'm counting it as read. Losing Brave, I've read as well. If only I could tell you, I read this as well. So far, so good. 2020, I think, was the best year so far. And this Dawn Girl, I haven't read it, and I think I still have it on my shelves. Accidental Heroes, I've read that. So those are the 12 books. So far, the year where I've actually read more was 2020, where I read 8 out of the 12, following by a tie between 2018 and 2019, where I've read 5 both years, and this year, 2021, was actually the worst one, where I've only read 4. Interestingly, as well, I haven't unhauled any books in 2020 or in 2021. And I think that actually makes sense because I started, even though I still buy a lot of books, obviously, and I obviously buy a lot of random books that I've never really heard of because of the charity shops, but I kind of only buy books that I'm fairly interested in reading. I know that I like romances, I know that I like thrillers, and that is pretty much it, to be honest. So I've stopped buying fantasy, which means I also have less fantasy to unhaul from my shelves, so that also makes sense. And the year where I have more unread books that I still own is obviously 2021, where I have 8. So I think that if we grab these 8 books from 2021 plus the 4 books from 2020 plus the 3 books from 2019 plus the 2 books from 2018, and I'm gonna say it really quickly so you cannot hold me accountable for that, but I think that if you choose 2 books total between all of these, I could perhaps read them and make a reading vlog for you, reading those 2 books that you suggested from this, and I'll see you very soon on my next video. Bye!